All right, this is a fun one. I don't think most people should read.
So who cares? Why not do your own thing and let them say what they want?
What's up, guys? Feel like getting rage baited today? I hope so, because today we're going to be doing a new edition of my unpopular opinions, and I am definitely farming for angry comments, while also being 100% honest with my opinions and very blunt with them, like always, but extra because that's what the video is about. Should be fun. Hopefully the pigtails look sweet enough to kind of soften the blow that I'm going to be giving you. Not the good kind of blow. Speaking of which, before we get into the video, I want to remind you that this channel is completely demonetized, so if you like what I do, you want it to continue, and you want me to put a roof over my head and food in my mouth, but not too much food, my link tree is down in the description with all the spicy sites, which, you know, you're giving me money, but I'm giving you so much more in return. I have a good time over there. We'll have a good time over there. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. I am feeling feisty today. Let me look at what I've written down. First unpopular opinion is it is okay to objectify strangers. Like, completely normal. This idea is pretty much the crux of what I said in my very first viral video, Feel Free to Fap. So for those of you who constantly keep asking me, is it okay to fap? Even though that's not the main message of the video, yes, it definitely is. You can rest assured that I still think the same thing today that I did all those years ago. Basically what I mean by it's okay to objectify strangers is that there's no possible capacity to do anything but objectify and judge a person that you don't know on a deeper basis. So when women go like, oh, I'm a lot more than my fat juicy ass or my big bouncy titties, it's like, yeah, sure, maybe, but all I've seen so far in this Instagram picture or while you're walking down the street is that fat juicy ass and those bouncy titties. So how the fuck could I ever possibly know how great you are as a person on the inside? That is the only information we have available to us, is that you have fat juicy ass and big bouncy titties. So let us appreciate that and objectify those characteristics and enjoy them ourselves within our heads, without expecting us to go up to you and be like, ma'am, I've just enjoyed your big juicy ass and your bouncy titties. Can you please tell me about your philosophy on child rearing? It's simply impossible to find out that information just by looking at someone or by following them on Instagram, especially if they don't really post anything but thirst traps. And I think it's also perfectly okay to objectify people for their skills. For instance, if you're hiring someone for a certain task, they're pretty much just the person implementing that task. They're nothing more to you. You don't have to create an everlasting bond with every single human you come into contact with. I think what people conflate with objectification in a bad way is actually treating someone like they're not a human being. But in what way are you not a human being just because you have a fat juicy ass or you're really good at carpentry? We just simply don't have time to get to know you any better, so we're going to use you for the things that we can use you for, or that perhaps we're paying you for. Take it as a compliment and move on. The next one I have is probably going to piss off people the most, so I wanted to start off with that little feel free to fap homage. I don't think it's part of your First Amendment right, or at least it shouldn't be, to block fucking traffic for whatever political movement you think is important. Not taking away any of the gravity of the situation, but if you are laying in the street or gluing your hand to the street and I am trying to get to work or I am trying to get to the fucking airport, I think it is absolutely okay for someone to remove you forcibly, and I also think you're a fucking idiot. I get it. Bleeding hearts want to save the world. They feel bad for people halfway across the world because they have nothing else going on in their lives, and they want to feel like they're useful. I can understand. I don't empathize, but I can understand. Astro, shut up. I don't know how you think in your head you're gonna influence a bunch of people who just have to get to fucking work by not letting them get to work. They have actual problems that are immediate in their lives that are not halfway across the world, and you're impeding their ability to deal with those things and then expecting them to be sympathetic to your cause. It's just insane. If anything, you're gonna make your cause associated with strife for these people, and they're gonna fucking hate you and your cause. You're not inconveniencing the government. You're not changing any big establishment rules. You're just hurting the everyman who's trying to get to work or trying to get on a flight. All right, this is a fun one. I don't think most people should read. So it's very common for self-help people to say like, oh, you should read 30 minutes a day. Set aside 30 minutes a day to read. I think that the average person is so fraught with idolatry and also has so little ability to scrutinize what they read that it's basically just a waste of time, kind of like consuming a bunch of self-help YouTube videos. This doesn't apply to everyone. Some people can scrutinize what they read and take the good out of it and leave the bad and actually use it to make positive change in their lives. But I think the majority of people, unless they're reading fiction novels and just having a good time and relaxing doing that, probably shouldn't be reading nonfiction or self-help or any of that shit. The thinking fasts and slows and the Tony Robbins and all that shit is not gonna help most people, and it's literally just a waste of time. It's literally like watching an anime for 30 minutes. Most people just have these idols that they listen to no matter what, and they like to read these things, and just like with YouTube videos, they like to hear these things that can improve their lives, and they take no action after that. Once that dopamine is hit and they're like all fired up, they make zero actionable changes in their lives to implement what they've read or watched. And so I don't think it's actually actually usually a good habit for people to sit around wasting 30 minutes of their day just idolizing like Tony Robbins or something. Unless you can read something from someone who's more published than you, who normal people would appeal to authority on, and go like, that's not really for me, or that doesn't really apply to me, and then leave it and then move on to something else. And unless you're a person who hears a good idea and then actually starts making small changes in your life to implement that idea, stop reading books unless they're about vampires. It's not helping you. And if you're one of those people that read that like the millionaires sit there and read 30 minutes a day and they've read 100 books over the years and that's what made them a millionaire, and you're internalizing that and then making that a part of your routine, you're probably an idiot and you're probably one of those people that shouldn't be reading. The next one is one I've probably talked about many times before, but I don't think that there's anything to laud about natural beauty. I do not think natural beauty is better than fake beauty. First of all, a lot of people will go like, oh, she's a natural beauty. She didn't have to go get all this plastic surgery, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, yeah, the plastic surgery cost money, which costs time to go make that money. So you've actually gotten off your ass and done something. Natural beauty is just what, genetics? You pop out of someone and you're good. On top of that, if you take two girls in their early 20s, one is really on top of her game and she's kicking ass and she's got lip filler and makeup and all this shit and she's working on her looks. Obviously not to a ridiculous degree. There's extremes here for everything. We don't have to go into the extremes of the girls that have like pumped up lips to here or whatever, or like the biggest giant botched tits. I'm talking about a girl who just takes care of herself, right? But then also might get a treatment here or there, some laser on her face, etc. Versus the girl that's just naturally beautiful. She's a bottle girl. She's out there in the club working. She doesn't really do anything, doesn't have to wear makeup. Which one of those girls do you think is gonna age like shit, get fat, and stop improving? The one who never improved in the first place and was naturally beautiful versus the one who actually cares about her appearance. That one's probably gonna be more of a trophy wife in the future. I see a ton of these girls in Vegas. They're just kind of like naturally skinny or like skinny fat, naturally cute, just kind of put on a tiny amount of makeup, drink a ton, go off of being naturally beautiful. They hit a hard decline versus girls who actually like go to the gym, don't do that stuff, actually work on their appearance. In fact, fitness and a fit body, that's not natural either. No one is born with abs or a big ass, at least one like that, you know? No one is born with a tiny tight waist and an hourglass shape and a nice toned back. You gotta work for that. So what are you saying, just because you don't use hyaluronic acid for that and instead you use metal, iron, that it's not natural? You know hyaluronic acid is naturally occurring in the body, right? That's the stuff that they put in lips in order to plump it up. So take your naturalistic fallacy and just stop with the sour grapes, because we all know you're just mad that girls like that have turned you down in the past. My next one I am so fucking passionate about, and oh my god, I'm so sick of seeing it on Instagram and on social media. This thing where they show that girls are edited or that their bodies are edited even in videos. Have you seen these videos? It's like a fit girl is showing you that she has like this tiny little waist and big old hips, and then she's like, if you're looking at this and you're feeling inadequate, just remember, and then it pops down to her being fit as fuck still, but like not as exaggerated. And then she's like, not everything on social media you see is real. All right, who do you think is benefiting from that kind of message? Other than her, who's just humble bragging that she might not have the most insane, unrealistic body, but she still has a very fit, nice, flattering body, while also talking shit about all the girls that do use those filters. Do you think it's the girl that like just doesn't have like crazy hips and a tiny waist, but is super fit and looks really pretty, and she's just got like some body dysmorphia from the filters that are fake on the internet and unrealistic body expectations? Most of the girls who are stressed out about these unrealistic body expectations are not girls that are like 3 inches from the goal. They are people that look way worse than every model, even without a single drop of filter or makeup. There's no girl on the internet that's like almost perfect, but she's just so stressed that she can't reach the pinnacle of perfection because she thinks that like these crazy filters that make your waist so small are real. Like, that's so silly. It's clearly just a humble brag from these creators to be like, look how great I actually look, while these other girls are fucking using these filters or whatever. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if these girls were actually still using the filter in the unfiltered version in some situations, just to make themselves look a little bit better than everyone else. So instead of that feel-good bullshit that's just self-serving, I'm gonna give you some hard facts. Unrealistic bodies are realistic for some people. It might be genetics, it might be hard work, it might be a ton of plastic surgery and money and time, or it might be a combination of all of those, but there are so many fucking people in the world that are way, way better looking than you. There's always gonna be someone that looks better than you. So when you see someone online and you feel bad about yourself, look inward and wonder why you're feeling bad about yourself because someone else looks good. Ask yourself, if this person looked 40% worse because they're using a filter in real life, would that make me feel better? Why is me looking at someone someone else, not inspiring, and instead I'm just hating on myself instead of getting off my ass and doing something to better myself and focusing on comparing myself to yesterday's self and just being a better version of myself tomorrow. These beautiful women on social media may or may not look like they do in their photos, but if you're sitting there wallowing about what they look like online, chances are they still probably look way, way better than you do. Who fucking cares? Go to therapy and figure out why you want to be someone else so badly, and then hopefully you can figure out how to just be inspired by beautiful, successful people and focus on yourself. Because if you can't look at someone else and objectively compare and then get something positive out of that, the onus is on you not to compare in the first place. Which brings me to the next one. The whole comparison is the thief of joy statement. In my opinion, that's completely wrong. That's like saying comparing yourself in an objective and healthy way and scrutinizing why you feel so negatively when you do compare is hard. So instead, I'm just gonna stay complacent and not compare and shut myself off to a whole world of ways that I can improve myself and gain inspiration from others. For me, comparison is not the thief of joy. You know what comparison is for me? Motivation to be better. It's information, knowing what's out there in the world and what I can do. It's admiration for another person's success and another person's beauty. And I truly believe that if you're in a good headspace and you've done enough self-work, comparison is part of joy. And last but not least, all right, so I was trying to watch a video the other day, but I was not in the mood and I was not having it on my Twitch stream, which I hope you guys come and check out. I stream every Tuesday around 1:30 p.m. PST, and I'm trying to put Thursdays in there too. But it was one of those videos where it's like a group of obese people versus a group of fit people and they're arguing about something. And the fit people are just projecting their hatred for themselves when they used to be fat on these fat people, and these fat people are just trying to tell themselves that somehow what they're doing to their bodies is morally right. I have an opinion on this real quick that I would like to add to this video that you might not expect. I think it's possible for some people to be making the right decision to be obese. I would not make this decision, but that's because I've weighed what I care about and what I want for my life with the effort that it would take to get there, and I've made the correct decision for myself. But what if someone actually loves food so fucking much that it's worth dying early, that it's worth not looking attractive to the average person? What if someone cares so little about their appearance that the taste of food and the endorphins that releases makes an overall happier life for them? People do things all the time that put them closer to death, that take days, months, years off their life. Things like drinking, or more normal things like snowboarding, hiking, all of these things can kill you. It's just a risk-reward analysis based on what you want for your life, and these people have chosen to be miserable in some ways in order to have this ultimate bliss of food. And I'm definitely not saying this is every obese person. I think most obese people are miserable, just don't know what to do, and don't have the discipline, and they just don't have the loadout in life to be able to fix that for themselves, but they really want to. Perhaps you could argue not enough, but I do think there are some people who just choose to be obese and they're at peace with it. If you're at peace with the choices that you make, it is okay, and it is within your agency to make a choice that will shorten your life or ruin your life in other ways that people external from you aren't going to understand, and that's completely fine. I mean, there's even like people who are feeders, like they have that fetish where they just really love big girls or big men. That's a thing. So I guess having an open mind has made me pretty fucking crazy, right? But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know which one of these pissed you off the most. And once again, these are just opinions. I just thought I would have some fun with this, and you know how I get really heated and worked up. I don't really actually care about any of this. Honestly, I know so much about psychology and all that shit now that it's just like I can't really judge anything, and I can see both sides to literally every coin. But I'd love to hear your unpopular opinions down in the comments, and don't forget to check out my links in the description. Have a wonderful day, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next Friday for another Friday Night Mail. Bye guys. Just feels so weird to not do the black screen. We gotta do it. Bye.